Let's talk about acids, bases, and salts. The first thing I want to do is make sure that you're okay on the identification of an acid and the identification of a base. So an acid is going to have a hydrogen ion, and you're going to add it to, when I say add, what I mean it's going to be chemically bonded to an anion. And this anion is going to be either another nonmetal, mostly from group 17, but there can be others. Group 17 is just the most common. And it can also be a polyatomic ion with a negative charge. So, for example, if you see hydrogen and a Cl, there's your hydrogen ion. Cl is from group 17, and those are their charges, and so you can see that they're going to cancel out just to create HCl. Or if you see hydrogen ion, and let's say with like sulfate, SO4, the 2 negative charge, we would swap and drop, so that 2 would come down, and we would get H2SO4. That would be another example of an acid. Or you could have, let's say we have hydrogen ion and nitrate. Nitrate's NO3 with a negative 1 charge. Notice that your charges cancel and you just end up with HNO3. Or let's say you have hydrogen being bonded to tellurium. Tellurium's in group 16. That would have a negative 2 charge. We'd have to swap and drop those charges. So you would get H2Te. So make sure you can identify an acid. It has a hydrogen ion bonded to either an anion and an anion, so nonmetal, mostly in group 17, some in group 16, or a hydrogen ion bonded to a polyatomic ion. Okay, now let's talk about a base. So with a base, a base is normally going to be a metal bonded to a hydroxide ion. There are, of course, exceptions, but for this class, this is the main thing you need to know. So base is a metal bonded to a hydroxide ion, and of course this is going to make an ionic compound, so you're going to look at the charges and swap and drop if needed. So choose any metal. For example, let's say that we have strontium. So strontium is in group 2, so it's going to have a +2 charge. Hydroxide, negative 1. If we swap and drop, we're going to get Sr, then parentheses OH with a 2. That would be strontium hydroxide. Or let's say that we have potassium. So potassium's in group 1. So we have a +1 charge, hydroxide, OH with a negative charge. Notice that those charges are going to cancel, so we just get KOH. Let's say that we have iron. And let's say that it's iron with a 3 positive charge. So iron 3. We have the hydroxide, OH negative. We swap and drop. I have to put parentheses around the hydroxide, and we get Fe parenthesis OH parenthesis 3. So these are all examples of bases. The only base you need to know that does not follow in this hydroxide rule, as far as just identifying a base from a formula, is ammonia. So ammonia is NH3. It looks like an acid, but it's a base, so make sure you know that ammonia is a base. It's a weak base, and the other ones, make sure you're just okay on identifying a metal with a hydroxide as far as just identifying whether or not it's an acid or a base. Okay, I hope that helps. Okay, let's start with a theory. There are actually several theories when dealing with acids and bases. The first theory is called Arrhenius theory. And the theory here is that an acid is a molecular substance, so molecular meaning 2 or more nonmetals, that breaks up in an aqueous solution And an aqueous solution, remember, means that your solvent is water. So we're dealing with water. And it's going to break up into a hydrogen ion and an anion. And an anion is going to have a negative charge. Okay, so kind of just opposite of what we did. We're going to pull things apart. So, for example, let's say that we have HCl. So HCl, H has a positive charge, Cl has a negative charge. AQ right here means that this is dissolved in water. Water's our solvent. So if we see this, we're going to say, oh, that's an acid because it has a hydrogen with an anion, and we're going to break it apart into its ions and the charges that it would normally be associated with the periodic table or the polyatomic ion. So we'd have an H positive, and we'd have a chloride with a negative charge because it's in group 17. So this would be an example of an acid in Arrhenius' theory. Okay, another example would be, let's say that we're doing our HNO3. This is called nitric acid. Again, you see the hydrogen. NO3 is a polyatomic ion, so you'd break them up into their charges. Hydrogen ion, and then nitrate has a -1 charge. And we're putting those AQs there just to show that it's in an aqueous solution. Okay, then we have the definition for a base. So an Arrhenius base is a substance that either releases hydroxide in an aqueous solution, which means that it can either contain an hydroxide or it can ionize to produce. So when we talk about contain hydroxide, an example of this would be water. So if we break down water, it can break down into a hydrogen ion and a hydroxide. So notice how water contains this hydroxide when we break it down. On the second part of that, as far as producing, okay, remember ionize is breaking down a substance into ions. So if we have something like that, we could say, oh, here's sodium hydroxide. And if we ionize this, it's going to break down into a sodium ion and a hydroxide ion. So these are called ionic hydroxides. When we have a metal with a hydroxide and it can break down. So again, containing would be an example of that would be water. Or we can have a substance that can produce a hydroxide, such as sodium hydroxide. So that's what a base means in Arrhenius' theory. Okay, with Arrhenius' theory, we have what's called neutralization. And this is a reaction between an acid and a base. And the hydrogen ion and the hydroxide ion from the acid is going to give the hydrogen ion. The base is going to give the hydroxide. Those two together are going to form water. And the cation of the hydroxide, so remember cation is your positively charged ion, and the anion, which is your negatively charged ion, of an acid are going to produce a salt. That's what the definition of salt means. So for example, here is a base, sodium hydroxide. This is Arrhenius' theory, so we're assuming that it's all in an aqueous solution. This is going to have a positive charge and a negative charge if we break it down. Hydrochloric acid, again, we're dealing with Arrhenius' theory of an acid. We have a positive and a negative. And what happens is this is a double replacement reaction. So the two positives or the two negatives are going to switch places, just like if you were on a double date and you switch a date. Okay? So what happens here is that the sodium is going to come over and it's going to bond with the chlorine. So see how it's switching that positive with that positive? When we get that, we relook at the charges. So sodium has a positive charge, chlorine has a negative. That's going to cancel to give us sodium chloride. Then what happens here is the hydrogen comes over and it's going to bond with the hydroxide. So over here we get a positive and a 2 negative, and that's where that 2 comes in because we've swapped and we've dropped. So we get water. So this right here is a salt, and we know it's a salt, but there's other salts that aren't necessarily sodium chloride that are salts, and that's because the sodium came from the base, and the chlorine came from the acid. So that's what we call a neutralization reaction. So if you had the same amount of sodium chloride, like let's say you had 5 milliliters, and you had the same concentration, maybe it's a 5 molar solution, and you had 5 milliliters of an acid and also the same concentration of 5 molar, if you mix this together, it would be neutralized, and what it would taste like is salty water. Should you taste it? No, but that's what it would taste like. Okay, let's do another example. Let's choose another metal. Let's say that we have calcium. So let's do calcium hydroxide. We're going to have a 2 down there because calcium's a +2 charge. And let's say that we have hydrogen bromide. So that would have a positive and a negative. This would be a 2 positive and a -1. And so we have this Arrhenius base and an Arrhenius acid. And now we're just going to switch places. So the calcium is going to come over and bond with the bromide because we're swapping out the positive charge. So when we do that, we get calcium, 2 positive, always look at your charges again. Bromide, which is negative, we swap and drop and we get CaBr2. This is our salt because the calcium came from your base, that's your cation, and your anion came from your acid. Okay, then this part should always be the same, but let's look at it. You're going to have your hydrogen, and it's going to bond with the hydroxide. So again, if you look at this, you have hydrogen with a plus. Hydroxide is a negative. Those are going to cancel. So instead of writing it as HOH, it's a little nicer if you write it as H2O, which is your water. So again, those are some neutralization examples. Okay, now there were some issues with the Arrhenius' theory. They found out, the later they did more research and more examples, that Arrhenius theory didn't cover everything about an acid or a base. And so here are the limitations. The first one is that a free proton doesn't exist in a water solution. So whenever we say proton, you need to remember that a proton and a hydrogen ion have the same mass and the same charge. So a proton and a hydrogen ion are used interchangeably. So whenever you see a proton, you can think to yourself, hydrogen ion, because both of them have a mass of 1 and a charge of 1. So I can write a proton like that, and I can also write H positive, so this would equal the P positive charge, the 1/1 mass of 1, charge of 1, that would equal a hydrogen ion. Okay, so those are interchangeable, a proton and a hydrogen ion. Okay, so what happens is in water, the hydrogen from an acid would form what's called a hydronium. Okay, this right here is called a hydronium ion, and you will need to make sure you know this. I'm going to show you how it's formed. So, for example, let's say that we have hydrochloric acid. So we have this HCl, and instead of doing the AQ behind right here, behind the HCl, we're just going to show water in the reaction. So we're going to have HCl plus water. Now what happens here is because HCl is an acid, this hydrogen ion is going to come over and it's going to attach to the water. So what we're seeing here is our water right here. Okay. And then this hydrogen is going to come and it's going to bond to it, this hydrogen ion. So when that happens, what we get is, oops, that didn't erase. What we get is this hydrogen right here attaching. So this hydrogen is going to attach down here, and that gets rid of that. Okay, and then that positive charge, we haven't forgotten about that. It's overall positive, so we're going to draw brackets with the positive 1 charge. This right here is representing the Lewis structure of hydronium. That's what hydronium is. And then what's left from that is going to be